Hello, welcome. Welcome to React Native Community Kraków meetup here in the Software Mention office. Hello to everyone watching us right now on YouTube. My name is Kacper. I'm a software engineer in the React Native open source team at Software Mention, and I'm very happy to be a host for tonight for you. Yeah, we have an amazing lineup today. We have 4 amazing speakers. And all of the speakers, I'm very happy to say, are contributing to open source daily. The first presentation will be a short intro from me, what's new and interesting in React Native. Second presentation today will be by Jacek Pudysz from CodeMask, Universal Styling with Unistyles. He's the creator of Unistyles, so probably has something interesting to say about it. Next, by Szymon Rybczak from CodeStack, about the cutting-edge React Server components and React Server components in React Native. And last but not least, Tymoteusz Boba from Software Mention, is React Native ready for Maestro? Okay, what's new in React Native? First piece of news I have for you is Bridgeless mode. So in the next version of React Native, the version 74, Bridgeless mode will be made by default in the new architecture. But what does it mean? So after many years of development in the new architecture, the React team has one goal in mind. At least that was mostly a main feature, was removing the bridge. And the goal is huge because everything in React Native based on bridge. Bridge is a way of passing the data between the JS side of the app to the native side and between. And they've removed the bridge in the new architecture, at least the native parts, so like native calls with turbo modules, and it's using JSI underneath. Next part was to remove a bridge from updating the components, and that was possible by introducing of Fabric renderer, which also uses JSI underneath. And the third part was everything else. So for example, error messages, error handling, and event emitters. And that's all called Bridgeless mode. And if you're a library maintainer, you have to make your library work with Bridgeless mode. Luckily, you have Wojtek, and he migrated a couple of our libraries, like React Native Screens, React Native SVG, and Gesture Handler. Also Safe Area Context, I think. And he's right now working on reanimated, support for reanimated for Bridgeless mode. And why is it important? Because in the next version, in 75, I think, the new architecture will be made as default. So if we don't migrate to Bridgeless mode and other stuff, we are all screwed. Don't worry, there is a compatibility layer. Hopefully it will work. Next, React DOM for native. React DOM for native is a different name for React Strict DOM. It's something kind of like React Native Web, because currently in React Native, we make our applications by default on Android and iOS, and we think about adding web as like an afterthought. Like later on, we'll add web to our application. And on the browsers, like the React is the default way of building apps. So we add web as a third platform. With React Strict DOM, you kind of build your app with just HTML, with buttons, with paragraphs and headers, and underneath it will be a native component on the React Native, and you build with web first in mind, but it's also working on Android and iOS. And if you know React Native, that's very similar to what we know already. So that's pretty cool. Future plans for React. React team has made a very cool blog post about what they've been working on recently for the past couple of months. And the most prominent is React Compiler, which is a promise of better performance both in React and React Native apps, which removes the use of use memo and use callback, and the memoization will be made for you by default, which is pretty cool. Other stuff coming in the next version of React, that's, well, React Compiler, but also React Server Components and Server Actions, which Szymon will hopefully tell you about today. Also, document metadata, which is something that currently React Helmet does for you. So support for meta tags on your websites. And asset loading via suspense. This is something that Next.js and other frameworks like Explorator will support for you. This is not something you add yourself to your app. This is supported by frameworks. And yeah, probably a very important event in the ReactConf universe, that is the conference on which they will probably announce some cool stuff in React and React Native. But speaking of conferences, a week later, in May, there also will be our conference, App.js, which is focused on React Native and Expo in Kraków, so not very far away from this office. Something that I'm very happy about, because in the last meetup, we've announced that we are working on live Markdown, so a rich text input in React Native. And I'm very happy to say that it's done. It's there. It's working in production in Expensify. You can install it. You can play around with it because it's open sourced. Yeah, it's done. It's working. Cool. And last but not least, for the news, we've made a new gesture handler docs, which our design team and Patricia, hi Patricia, has developed. And the docs feature a very cool examples. You can play around with the gestures, how they work. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And yeah, we are always looking for speakers for React Native Community Kraków meetup and for other meetups as well. So if you have something to say about React Native, maybe Android as well, and iOS, other stuff connected to React Native, scan the QR code. And sponsored, we are hiring React Native devs, yay. Sponsored slides from Software Mention. Yeah, there is a hard requirement. You need to speak Polish and English as well.